Everything we've been taught about confidence is fundamentally wrong, and the science proves it. Today we're exploring why waiting to feel confident is actually sabotaging your success.
That's a pretty bold claim. What made you start questioning the conventional wisdom about confidence?
Well, I've been diving deep into the neuroscience behind confidence and success, and here's what's fascinating. Confidence isn't actually the prerequisite for success that we've been led to believe. It's more like a byproduct of taking action.
So you're saying we've got the sequence completely backwards? That's actually mind-blowing when you think about it.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Our brains are actually wired to keep us in this waiting pattern. The amygdala, our brain's threat detection system, treats uncertainty the same way it treats physical danger.
That explains so much about why we freeze up even when we logically know something isn't dangerous.
And get this, studies have shown that when we face uncertainty, our cortisol levels can spike by up to 15 to 20%, which literally shuts down our prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part of our brain.
So it's almost like we're fighting against our own biology when we try to build confidence.
Precisely. But here's the game changer. Research from the University of Texas showed that people who took action before feeling confident were 64% more likely to achieve their goals than those who waited to feel ready.
That's a pretty significant difference. How exactly does that work?
It's called the confidence loop, and it's fascinating. When you take action first, your brain creates new neural pathways that actually rewire your fear response. Each successful attempt reduces amygdala activation by approximately 7%.
Well, that's really interesting. But how do you get past that initial terror of taking action?
This is where the 5-second rule comes in. It's based on research showing that your brain takes about 5 seconds to build up resistance to action. By counting down 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and moving immediately, you bypass the fear response entirely.
That seems almost too simple to be effective. What's the science behind it?
Here's what's fascinating. fMRI studies show that this pattern interrupt technique reduces amygdala activation by up to 30% in the moment. But the real magic happens when you combine it with systematic exposure.
Tell me more about how that systematic exposure works in practice.
Think of it like strength training for your confidence. Each time you face a fear, your brain's stress response decreases by about 10%. After just 10 exposures to a specific situation, most people report a 70% reduction in anxiety.
Those numbers are pretty compelling. But how do you maintain that momentum when things get tough?
This is where identity shifting comes in. Research shows that people who adopt a growth identity, seeing themselves as someone who takes action despite fear, are 83% more likely to persist through challenges.
So it's really about changing your entire self-concept, not just building confidence in one area.
Exactly. And here's something remarkable. Studies of successful entrepreneurs show that 92% of them made their biggest breakthroughs while still feeling significant doubt and uncertainty.
That really challenges the image we have of confident leaders, always knowing exactly what they're doing.
And what's even more interesting is that waiting to feel confident actually decreases success rates by up to 40%. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of hesitation.
Those statistics are pretty eye-opening. What would you say to someone who's stuck in that waiting pattern right now?
The data is clear. Action takers who feel fear succeed at roughly 3 times the rate of those waiting to feel confident. It's not about being fearless, it's about being courageous enough to move forward despite the fear.
That's really powerful. It's almost like getting permission to be imperfect.
And here's the ultimate irony. Studies show that people who accept fear as part of the process report 45% higher satisfaction with their progress than those trying to eliminate fear completely.
This whole conversation has really shifted my perspective on confidence. It's not what I thought it was at all.
And that's the breakthrough moment. Understanding that confidence isn't something you need to find or fake, it's something you build through consistent action. The science proves it, and the results speak for themselves.